Good morning, everybody. A bit of a different setting for me today. We're back in the car. I'm taking you back to summer and last year when the room mill was just prevalent in the vehicle. But no, listen, we've tried to step it up a bit this year. We're actually inside the house. No, but listen, we've got a few bits and bats to get through today. Apologies, this hasn't been out for 8 o'clock. Listen, life gets in the way, doesn't it? And this is your sort of West Ham preview as well. I'm going to touch on West Ham United. And I'm obviously going to give you the sort of the conclusive week's gossip. So I hope you're all doing really well. Make sure you're liking the video. Hi, Lucy. Fig, Billy. Hello. Hope you're all doing really well. But listen, we'll start the day off with guess who? It's Nandez. Now, we've heard on the Phil Hay podcast that allegedly this one isn't happening. I mean, I never want to break it to you guys, but the thing with Nandez is, like, everybody loves talking about him. Everybody loves referencing him. He was never going to happen in the first place. Tutto Mercato, yeah, your Calcio Mercato, all of these outlets report him every single window. You listen, it can be open for 2 or 3 days, and we start talking about Nandez, but allegedly, according to Phil, there is problems with him in his homeland, and there's a court case going on with Nandez, which could complicate transfer matters. So we don't know that to the extent of what that could be, but I think that rules out a signing indefinitely. And to be honest, guys, it's never really come to the forefront anyway. There's never really been any developments on the English side, which normally you get after a period of time. I mean, Calcio Mercato are saying that, Leeds are in advanced talks with him. Apparently, he was close to a medical last summer, but how much of this do you believe? How much of this do you talk about, really? And yeah, I think this one we should leave Nandez. In fact, I'm going to make a conscious decision on the room mill now. We're not going to talk about Nandez anymore. Dharmesh Seth has said this morning, the Sky Sports reporter, that Leeds United are preparing for January signings. Apparently the Whites are looking at contingency plans for their squad, which is interesting to hear, because I think I'm still of the persuasion that Leeds won't do any business this window. I still fully believe that. I think I've said to you guys before that I think it's going to be opportunistic, and I don't really know what opportunistic means in the January window. I mean, what massive opportunities come up where clubs aren't trying to shortchange you, where players aren't wanting absurd contracts, where it's complicated in every fashion. Unfortunately, every single time, every single transfer in January seems to be a little bit overpriced, and it seems to be overcomplicated as well. So if Leeds United are waiting for an opportunity to arise, you would expect that to be on the continent, or maybe a lone player here in the Premier League, which I wouldn't be against, of course. But I just don't know whether or not that opportunity is going to come to the fore. Obviously, I don't know that, but it seems less and less likely. What are we on now? The 6th or 7th of January. We need to, for Leeds United to be looking at a signing, we need to have already made plans. We already need to be we needed to be speaking to this potential signing in December, like Everton have done with the left back, like Everton have done with the right back Patterson they've brought in, like understandably Newcastle have done with Kieran Trippier as well. We needed to be doing that, and I just don't know if the club are going to do it. Now my prediction would be, and you guys can hold me to this, of course, that Leeds United offer Rafinha a new contract. They get the contract done in January, and that is it. And that sort of appeases fans. Fans are really happy that we've signed Rafinha for a new long-term deal. Twitter goes wild, but I just can't. I can see that being a little bit of a cover, a little bit of sort of papering over the cracks for me for this January window. That's what I see happening. I could be wrong, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. So yeah, for me, the Rafinha contract is going to cover the sort of lack of transfer dealings. I hope I'm wrong. Now, the Bizzare signing is now, we'll wait till the end. Stick with me till the end, where there are several reports talking about this, contrary to what I've just been saying about me feeling Leeds aren't going to do anything. But contrary to what I've just said, wait till the end for this Bizzare signing, which many publications are talking about today. But apparently Newcastle are moving in on John Swift, and this is what sort of irks me a little bit. We've spoken about John Swift before on the Rumour Mill last summer. We've spoken about John Swift on the debrief. We've spoken about John Swift everywhere. available for a cut price, 100%. Reading, from what I understand, don't feel confident they can keep him the January window. They think there's going to be a flood of bids, obviously with his goals and his assists and his playing time and his sort of ability, in their opinion, everybody else's opinion, that he'll be able to transition into the Premier League quite seamlessly. aka like an Eberiche Eze recently, in recent times, I should say. So there are lots of clubs looking at him now, and the big one, which is disappointing because they're in and around us, is Newcastle. Apparently, Newcastle are looking at John Swift now. We've seen with the Kieran Trippier deal, with the interest in Philippe Coutinho as well. Newcastle are moving quickly. They're moving quickly in this window because they know that they simply have to stay in the Premier League. Yeah, of course, it's going to be a new dawn. They'll go. If they do go down, they'll win the championship at a canter. They'll buy the championship. But, they do lose money. You lose money, you lose revenue, you lose TV rights, you lose sponsorships going down to the championship. And the new owners will be well aware of that. And when they're within touching distance of getting out of the bottom three, only 2 points off Watford, the owners will do absolutely everything in their power to keep Newcastle in the division. And what's more powerful than anything on planet Earth? It's money. So they are going to be throwing money at Reading for John Swift. I don't know whether or not they'll offer it, because obviously Swift's out of contract in the month of July, sort of May. So I don't know whether or not they're going to offer a massive price for him. I think a massive price for John Swift at the minute would probably be 15 to 20 million with him going out of contract. But that might blow everybody else out of the water. And if there is any other side to sort of compete, and I don't even know if Leeds are in for him, guys. I think they admire him, but once again, when Leeds admire a player, doesn't mean they're going to get it done. We know that from yesteryear. Harvey Barnes, Matej Bizzare, etc. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Newcastle got that one done. I can't see John Swift staying at Reading in the January window, so that's definitely one to keep an eye on. Kim Barnes just said, what about Ross Barkley? Not for me. Attitude problems rife. Chelsea are trying to offload him because of that factor. He's going to cost a lot of money, and I can't imagine him ever fitting into this Leeds United system at all. The system for Leeds United is above anything else, and I think that's what some people tend to forget. It's not about the individual brilliance. Of course, that's what we want. We had that with Samu Sayus, who got moved on because of his attitude. It's not about the individual brilliance. It is about the collective. And I just don't think Ross Barkley has that in his nature to be able to be part of the collective. We even saw it at Aston Villa last season. And interestingly, Paul Robinson's come out and said, ex-Leeds United keeper has come out and said, Leeds United cannot afford to let Matthias Klich go in summer. Now, this is a really interesting one. I'm not gonna be fake with you guys. I've said I think this is going to be the end goal for Matthias Klich this year. I think I would like to see him move on. I would like to see Leeds regenerate in that position. I would like to see Leeds regenerate across a number of positions. I understand his off-the-ball movement for the goal against Burnley was brilliant. He was brilliant against Burnley as well. But I think there is an expiry date. I think there is a sort of renovation process that needs to happen within Leeds United's midfield. If Klich is to stay, I would look at him as a bench option. And I would be looking, if Leeds are looking to top six, which Radrazani keeps saying, if we're looking to replicate the Leicester model, this sentimental aspect of Leeds fans, of Leeds United, the club Leeds United, which I think is great. It's family orientated. It's lovely to be connected with the club, which we haven't for so many years, but it needs to sort of expire a little bit. I think there is a process where Matthias has been here for a number of years, so I almost disagree with Paul Robinson there. I think if we're looking, we're talking about a Kamara, we're talking about players of that next level, maybe John Swift to come in, and he's got years ahead of him to mould into the system. Yesteryear we've been talking about Rodrigo de Paul, but my point is, guys, that the next level of midfielder for me is what we should be looking at. And Matthias Klich's been sort of on and off this season. His off-the-ball work's very good. His on-the-ball work for me is always questionable. The amount of touches he takes is passing at points. And that's just my opinion. So I do disagree with Paul Robinson. But where I agree with Paul Robinson is if Leeds are looking to not strengthen in that area and we're just going to let Matthias Klich go, that's a problem. Leeds need to replace Matthias Klich and then add another midfielder on top of that for me. So that's where we've got to be really, really careful as a club, because if we're just letting players go and then not replacing them, as I've spoken about with Cody Drame, as I've spoken about with Sam Greenwood in recent videos, Leeds need to add to this depth not just simply let the depth go, because we're already paper mache thin. Okay, so what else have we got? So the weird, the bizarre, and the downright strange is Jed Wallace, guys. Jed Wallace at Millwall. Several outlets are reporting this morning. I'm talking about 4 or 5 that Leeds United are looking at Jed Wallace. Now, we've all spoken about Jed Wallace over the past however many years. I'm just going to read out Kim's comment here. Boubacar Kamara should be a definite sign. He would be a great set. Yeah, I mean, Boubacar, it'd be an absolute dream, mate. It'd be an absolute dream, Kim. Thank you so much for helping the channel there. I really appreciate it. It goes towards the channel. None of it goes in my back pocket. So thank you so much, buddy. But yeah, Jed Wallace. So 27 years of age, 6 goals this season, 5 assists. I've been part of the Millwall setup for years and years and years now. The Northern Irish sort of winger / striker. And that's where it sort of works in a weird way, because he's consistently up in the numbers. He's Millwall's main man. He can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play up front. So the versatility aspect, tick. The experience aspect, tick. Out of contract and relatively cheap, tick. Low wages, tick. So a lot of it does make sense, but it just... And I've also said before, you can't discount championship players, i.e. Eberechi Eze, who I've spoken about before, John Swift. But it seems a bit strange. It seems a bit of a weird one. But many articles are posting this morning, and yeah, for me, it could just be a bit. Maybe Jed Wallace's agent is trying to get him out there and use Leeds' name, which we see all the time with agents. That's why Nandez gets brought up all the time. That's why Omar Colley gets brought up all the time. It's their agents. And I just feel with this one that Jed Wallace's agent has said to a local paper, look, put Leeds in there. Jed wants to move. Let's see what can happen. But yeah, for me, no chance on that one, but a really bizarre one. But the versatility aspect, obviously, it works. Cheap works. But yeah, I just don't know if Jed Wallace, after watching Jed Wallace for many years covering Championship football, I can't imagine he'd fit into a Premier League setup, and he's not that level up that we've just been speaking about Matthias Klick as well. Stephen has just said here, I can't see Leeds buying a next level player until summer when Premier League status is confirmed. Yeah, sort of. I can agree with that, mate, but I guess it depends on the ambition of the club. Do the club believe that they're in a relegation battle? I don't know. Do the club believe that they can kick on? I mean, you know, when you look at it, if Leeds are in a position now where we've got 19 points, where we're sort of clear of the relegation zone. If they want to step on and hit the sort of ignition, we can do that. And you know, Leeds can still finish in the top 10 this year. It will not happen, in my opinion. But if we're to bring signings in, a next caliber of player in who can fit into this season and next season, why not? You know, why not? Well, I don't see the point in risking it, which we're doing, which we're going to do. We're going to risk it for me until we do stay in the division. Guys, as Philip has said, there is 227 of you in here and only 36 likes. Please like the video. Yeah, a lot of it is difficult doing this every single day when you've got stuff on, but I am doing it for you guys, so I hope you've enjoyed it. West Ham preview. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough... It's very... Obviously, we've got Marcelo Bielsa's press conference today. It's very difficult to predict what's going to be going on, but I would love to see Joffrey start. I would love to see, obviously, him within this setup. I'd love to see Lewis Bates start. Connor, do you care about the cup competitions? No, I don't. No, I don't. And I think the cup competitions will come. The cup competitions will come in time. But I think at the minute, it's a bit, in my opinion, naive to think that Leeds are going to go on a brilliant cup run and stay in the division. We've always seen this season that Leeds have injury upon injury upon injury, you know, and us adding more competitions and, you know, Marcelo Bielsa fielding a strong side for West Ham this weekend and Leeds getting a victory, which I always want, of course I do. And then us going through and playing another strong side and picking up more injuries. No, we don't need it. It's a distraction. It is a complete distraction for me. The sentiment of the FA Cup, of the Carabao Cup to an extent, that can come. That can come. But Leeds United need to consolidate for 3 years. That's the realism of it. That's the realism of exactly what Angus Kinnear, Andrea Radrizzani, Victor Orta will be looking at. Consolidate for 3 years. If Leeds stay in the Premier League within a 3-year span, we can then jump on and go to these cup competitions and have a run and all this sort of stuff. You know, it's just not in the forefront of my mind at all. It's never been in the forefront of my mind. Premier League status for this club is everything, and I don't want to see. Tyler Roberts even went off the other day. Of course he did. But that's another injury. No one's been talking about Ix Gelhardt came on and did so well, but it's another injury. Is he going to be fit? We'll see with Marcelo Bielsa's press conference today for the near future. But it's another injury. Leeds get an injury per game, or an injury two injuries every other game. So there's no point. There's no point in doing it. There's no point in sort of being part of it for a long period of time. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see, guys. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. But yeah, I'd love to see Joffrey start. I'd love to see. It's difficult to rotate with this Leeds United side because it's so thin, and that's what I'm talking about with the FA Cup. Why it's difficult, because it's difficult to rotate. It's difficult to see what Bielsa's thinking. So we'll see if McKinstry's in there, McCarran, I don't know. But I think West Ham are going to field a weaker side as well. They've got some key players out, so we'll have to wait and see for that one. Guys, let me know what you think. Do you take the FA Cup seriously at the minute? What do you think on the signings? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in a bit.